Hey folks, welcome back to another Let's Play with your host, me, Feral Pony. Thought this would be just another kind of fun time to get in there and try out some lesser known indie titles and show off some of their gameplay and talk about it. I'm a professional game designer by trade, so it's really fun for me to kind of go through these titles that can try more interesting things and really kind of dissect and pull apart, and hopefully show everyone here some cool gameplay and stuff as well. So this is a game called Warm Snow. It's by a Chinese studio, just recently released into early access on Steam, and it has a lot of kind of the action roguelike-y, kind of Hades-esque feel to it. There's some differences too that are worth calling out, but I will give it a shot here. General controls are stuff like WASD. You'll kind of move around. You can see that with like a game controller as well. There's a few things here that I'll highlight, and then I will just jump into the gameplay. There's no subtitles for some of the stuff, but there are tooltips for almost everything else. So if there's something that they say and I can translate it, I will. But my Chinese is really bad, so probably can't help out very much there. And then this is a skill tree. This is very kind of Hades-esque. When you do runs, you get these like little crystals, and you can use those to do stuff. So there's like a defensive tree, an offensive tree, and a utility tree, essentially. Had a really amazing run last night, and I was able to clear out a bunch of bosses and stuff. Usually I can only get through the first boss, but the game is really, really hard. And I was able to get all the way to what I assume is the final boss, which is boss number 5. So this is all just stuff that's like unlocks new equipment, a bunch of extra damage, all that good stuff. So I'm not going to belabor at this point here. The other thing that's kind of cool that I'll call out that is a little bit of it's a tiny twist on a standard formula, but it's pretty cool. So there are these little lore tidbits that drop. So like you'll see like a painting of Qing, and what this is basically, these are lore drops, very Dark Souls, Demon Souls-esque, that have like a little lore tidbit in the world. But the cool part about them is that when you get a certain collection of these that are all kind of related to the same character, it unlocks like a permanent kind of bonus. So you'll see some of these I have some of these, but I'm missing others and stuff, and I'll kind of unlock these over time. So we'll jump into that. Okay, I don't know what this is for. Looks like it's important, but basic controls, WASD, you have spacebar to jump around. I'm sure this game works on a controller as well. I just don't usually play on controllers. So there's basic slashes, you have a sword. If you do the full combo, you'll do a big kind of finishing like double slash there that you can kind of see. But the cool, unique part about this is the flying blades you probably noticed behind me. That's your range attacks. You can basically just throw those around. They do decent-ish damage, but they're more for triggering other kind of effects. So you can kind of see stuff there. And then I also have an ability to recall all the blades back to you. So anywho, so these are basically gods. You only start off with this one here on the left, and then you unlock each of these as you defeat bosses. So I'm just going to use a simple one just to kind of start things off, but just be aware that a lot of these, whatever, I'll actually show off the crazier one. So generally all these bosses have one thing that leverages the blades and another thing that's sort of like a crazier playstyle shift. So I'm going to use the more standard ones just so folks can kind of see the basics. So we're going to start with this Bone Chill God. I don't know, basically your melee attacks deal additional frost damage. I haven't used this before, but freezing is amazing. Super great for both like what I would call elites and non-bosses. And then this upgrades my flying swords into frost damage dealing ice blades. So they have a chance for critical strike. They always crit against frozen enemies, which is awesome. And then it transforms the recall skill into ice blade recall. Okay, so it just deals frost damage. There's nothing extra fancy there. So we're going to try this. You can see my blades are now frost. This is the frost god. There's a fire god here, a lightning god, and then one that's more, I think, flying sword based. Anyways, so the basic plot of the game is there is a thing called Warm Snow. Warm Snow, it basically is sort of it's sort of like a virus style snow that descends onto people and turns them into monsters when it touches them. So your job is to try to get through and fight the 4 sort of clan leaders in sort of order, and then get to the emperor and sort of defeat the cause of the snow. So we're going to sit here. This is the prologue. It's going to look really easy. It is generally pretty easy. It's just to kind of get familiar with your controls and character. I also am basically one-shotting these people. You can kind of see with that, even though these don't generally do as much damage as the sword does, I'm largely one-shotting them because I have all the offensive spec. So this will get harder. Okay, so this is, you'll see a split like this. This is very Hades, any other kind of action roguelike, or honestly deck building roguelike. So this means a normal fight, and this means weapon. So not everything has really good tooltips, that kind of stuff. So again, I may need to help either try to translate or just get to figure out what I've learned. The translation job in this game is pretty shaky. It works for the most part, but there are some issues. So you can kind of see here, make this cool little dashing, dodging kind of plays. Okay, I'm gonna do. You guys see this little fun kind of recall move. The recall doesn't actually do that much damage, so I don't usually try to use it all the time for damage. But there's some really cool triggers you can pull off. Okay, so this is awesome. This is a passive bonus, so I will absolutely be taking the passive bonuses. My recommendation would be stack as many of the passive bonuses as you possibly can. They can range from mildly useful to insane. So they're definitely things that will like make or break your build. I don't know how I took damage already. I'm a little sad about that. You'll also notice I have a cooldown up here. This is the recall button. They also call this sheath, oddly. I think it's a translation. It's a tricky spot to translate. So if you ever see the word sheath in scripts or in any of the tooltips, that's what this is. Oh, I should just want to. This is another bar down here. It's called Rage. Don't have anything that triggers that yet, so it's blank. Then I have two. These are potions. They're basically Estus flasks from Dark Souls. Okay, so this is great. Okay, so these are tempting. I think the unfortunate answer is I have to go with Leech Fang. So Leech Fang here. This is tempting, but what is this? Whenever you cause damage to an enemy whose health percentage is higher than yours, initial damage will be caused. Oh yeah, definitely not. So Leech Fang here is basically every time I hit with a melee or flying sword attack, I'm healed for 1% of my max health and triggers most once per second. This is phenomenal. This basically will save your run almost completely. So if you ever see it, you know that's kind of what you have to deal with. So you'll see my health bar up there. You'll see a little bit come back. So what you can do is you can kind of just like do a little poke. Do a little poke. And do a little poke. And so you can kind of do that kind of play style, and you can get your health back if you need to play a little conservative. Obviously it won't get you all the way if you're very, very low, but it can definitely work. Okay, so we got another boon. This is great. Or another skill. That's not bad. Everything's like max HP based, which is actually kind of cool. So they don't do like flat health and then kind of like regen. It's always like restore 1% of your max health. So when you combine offensive and defensive mechanics in this game, they actually work pretty synergistically, which is a really nice little minor mechanical touch. When attacked, I have a 15% chance to cast an Ice Nova to freeze the enemy. I don't plan on being hit very often, particularly by enemies that would care about freezing, so I'm not going to bother with that. Killing enemy damage can stack. This is nice, but the problem, this game really, the threat is bosses. So everything you should be doing should be spec'd towards killing bosses. So I'm gonna go with this. You'll like that doesn't sound like killing bosses because I regenerate and kill the enemies, but it does give me 10% extra health, and it guarantees that I'll get there. Okay, so this is the Prologue Boss. It's actually, you don't always fight this boss, but sometimes you do. Okay. Ah. Oh, he's so bad. Oh my gosh, this is literally the worst I've ever played against this boss. Oh my, this is actually actively the worst I've ever played against this boss. So basically this boss is going to summon some wolves. You can see this boss does not care at all about freezing. You also notice that sometimes what you can do is stick your swords to bosses, and there's kind of cool mechanics. Some things trigger off that, like you deal additional damage for every sword impaled into a boss, that kind of thing. So it's a nice little kind of fun thing. Okay. Oh. Okay, so these are all frost-based stuff, which is really cool. Okay, so let's see what this is. Trigger chance for icy cold, increased by 5%. 20% chance to directly trigger ice blade recall or frost explosion when trigger icy cold. Okay. That's the basic extra damage or the freeze when I hit on my normal melee attacks, which is fine. It's not bad. Frost damage, I deal the enemy has a 3% chance to cause frostbite, dealing 5% max HP. If an enemy is in freeze, this is cut off, but that's actually one of the problems you'll see is written Chinese is very, very short, and so a lot of the spaces when you translate it into sort of more of a Latin language, it just like blows off the page. That's a common translation problem in games. When you go from Chinese to non-Chinese. The other way around is much easier. Okay, and then your frost damage gets by 60%. When you trigger Icy Cold, you gain an Eye of Extinction. All enemies you attack in the next 5 seconds will be treated as being frozen. Oh, interesting. Okay, so it's basically anything that triggers off a frozen will work with that. So I'm gonna do this because I think the way this works is a 50% chance to carry 20%. Ah, okay, that's actually not that great. Because I'm not always. Oh, these also are always dealing frost damage, so I'll take it and hope that it is good and works against bosses. We're going to take this first. So these are called, I forget what they call them, but these are basically your boons. So this is called, it's a fiery saltpeter. So the first thing you'll notice is that there's actually 4 slots here. There's a core slot, a power slot, an agility slot, and a skill slot. Most of these are basically, this is going to be tied to your rage mechanic. This is basically a passive, usually around stabbing. This is usually dashing, but can be other things. And this is sort of a utility slot. So it's kind of like offensive speed and then utility. Every one of these can slot into any of these slots. And you can freely slot and unslot them, which is awesome. I really kind of love this setup. Not all these are good and everything, but okay, so let's see here. So eventually you'll fill all these slots up and you'll be kind of competing for different spots and different things will synergize. So we don't have to worry too much about that here. Our decisions are not final in any way. So I have an active skill. I can shoot flames in all directions. Let's just see if that, try that. I think it's, oh, I thought it was F. It is not F. F is, it's Q. Okay. F is drinking my potion, so I just kind of wasted that. But yeah, you can kind of see the active skill there. So you have to basically fill the Rage Beater, and then I think you just activate it. So, okay. Okay, we're not going to do that. Final Blow and Melee, that sounds great. Just add 50 fire damage. That's a lot of damage. And this is leaves a shower of sparks behind. It's fine, but we can kind of experiment and see you see a little spark trail there. And then this last one is shooting flying swords. There's a 20% chance your flying sword will deal fire damage. Okay, so you can see, yeah, you can see already some of these are on fire, which is slick. I have to take this though for right now because like that is going to be an absolutely insane amount of damage. Oh, and I almost forgot the other thing. So this is a weapon, so you'll find weapons here as well. This is your normal basic sword, and this is a rare sword, so all damage 5%, damage attacks have 8% chance to increase damage. Okay. A lot of melee attack speed and poison damage. That's not bad, it's okay. I've seen way better, but I've also seen way worse. And this is another unique element here. So I showed you that little thing, the fiery saltpeter little item. Almost all these unique rare items have a special effect if you have a certain combination of items and a certain combination of slots. So for this I need Death Lotus and Northern Wind Bloom. I don't have either of those. But if I did, my Death Lotus petals would deal extra frost damage and then have a chance to freeze enemies. So I'm going to take the sword no matter what. It's all pure upside. And so you have a cool little model swap. I really appreciate when games do that. And we're going to move ahead here. So we are going to go. Hopefully I get my potion back. We'll see if that... I think I do here. Okay. So this is your little base. You'll kind of rescue these characters. You don't start with these. But this guy, basically, you pick an item. I'm going to pick a relic. Oh, nice. Okay, it's a purple. So purples, there's like gray, blue, purple, orange. I think those are the only colors they use kind of World of Warcraft kind of colors. Okay, so I have a Thunderstone. It's not great, obviously. I have a Frost build primarily, but who knows? I'm getting all the elements. Melee or flying sword attacks have a 50% chance to shoot a lightning chain. Okay, it's fine. This is cool. So this is often where, like, when you kind of max out your rage, your character kind of has like a Super Saiyan moment, and then like everything goes kind of crazy. Flicker, lightning damage increased. This is not worth. This is also not worth. So I don't have any lightning damage. So these two are absolutely useless. This is also basically the same thing. So I could just swap these out. But I think this is actually totally fine for here. But I might have to swap this into this slot later. This only has these 2 slots of usefulness. Oh, this is another thing. I can refine my sword. They call it this swords, all swords Excaliburs. But you can reforge it for $0. And basically it kind of re-rolls your current weapon. So I'm going to try that, and sometimes we'll upgrade it, but usually just re-rolls it. Okay, all damage 8%, flame damage 27, frost damage 24, range damage 20. This is not amazing, but it's not bad. It's definitely, I think, a little better than we had before, and I don't have blood fungus or bruiser, so I don't really have any chance of, unlocking those for a while. But just so you kind of get the effect, if I have both of those, if I deal damage, there's a 15% chance to either increase my damage by 20% defense or heal me by 1% every second. And the effect is random, will last 5 seconds. So that's another way to just like kind of get your healing in. Okay.
十州城好像已经出现了动乱，事不宜迟，赶紧动身吧。
All right. So we are on chapter 1. So this is basically the scroll of the pig. It's the pig clan. There's pig, turtle, crane, and tiger, and then the emperor himself. So it will hit harder from here. Usually getting to the first boss is not very difficult, but the first boss himself can be pretty challenging. You can destroy some of these objects. Oh, yep, that's a piggy. The piggies can be surprisingly deceptively hard, and kind of painful. You'll break these objects, but just as a heads up, I've never really, I don't think I've found anything in the objects ever, so you don't have to really worry about smashing everything. The piggies are actually surprisingly strong at knocking around, but that's where like that freeze mechanic comes into play, where it's like just consistently stun locking them. It's really crazy. So this is actually a elite fight. I'm gonna take that. I don't remember actually. There's a lot of consistency in what the elite fights give you, but they're definitely better than like the 50 souls or whatever you'd be getting otherwise. You can see there because I have that health regen on melee attack, I can be a little sloppy, which I actually really appreciate. Trying to play these games super perfectly will definitely cause you to play very, very passively. Oop. So that's the elites. You can tell the elites are not, they can still get stunned, so it's usually pretty easy to break them apart. Okay, now what is this? This is Northwind Bloom. I actually think that's the thing that was listed on my weapon. Oh, no, that was the other weapon. Okay, so this is just, we have to look at it for what it is. This is a common, so you'll see it as just like the white text. Upon flicker, release a frost nova. Okay. Upon dealing frost damage, 5% chance at an extra 4 frost damage. Sure, why not? We'll take this. We'll just go all in on the frosty bits. Okay. Oh, another one. Okay, let's take this. I could do weapon as well. It's not a terrible idea. You're always guaranteed to get some souls if you pick up an extra weapon. You can recycle them. So it's never terrible. But I want to see what... Oh, that's the piggy. She has a little sword stuff. There we go. That's handy. A lot of these will also drop health and stuff too. Usually not a lot though, so you'll still want a health boost. Okay, so... Okay, 100% HP, all attack at 60%. Each enemy with a melee range increases all damage you deal. That's not bad either. These are all fine. This one's clearly the best. Now mind you, I'm not at full health, so theoretically it benefits me none right now. But at the same time, it's usually pretty easy to get back to full health. So when you do, obviously that's crazy. I don't need to full heal at this point. Yep, see what you're gonna see here. Okay, now I'm back to full health. And I am just absolutely wrecking things. Oh, awesome. Okay, so this is an underground little kind of side area. I think there's an underground boss in here as well. I don't know what these are for. I don't know if this is supposed to be kind of like a god realm or what kind of the thematic here is. So I can get an epic weapon. It's actually worse than the one I have, at least from a rarity standpoint. But I can also get any of these kind of things as well. So let's just take a quick gander here. I need blood fungus and bruise herb. That's none of these. So I am missing one. So I am gonna take the ink fire crystal. Okay, it's common, which is bad. She's asking if I don't like it, so, which is fair. I don't like it. Okay, upon flicker, yeah, 4 true fire damage seems fine. We're gonna do this. So you can see here I have. Alright. Oh yeah, there's this. Ah, fuck. That's a bad start. So she only has 2 real attacks. She has those like giant kind of sword swipes. And then she has a hook. And the hook is the one you have to be worried about because it will basically, it's very wide, very accurate, and will kind of get you that sort of that stun lock, almost like a fighting game kind of throw. There it is. Usually a lot of these attacks are pretty common. You have to kind of dash to move. And you don't want to dash away. Dashing away from some of the attacks very damaging. Okay. She's not too bad. The main part is just if you don't have a healing mechanic, yeah, make sure you don't take too much damage. Millennium Ice. Okay, I don't think I've seen this before. Melee or flying sword attacks can trigger Ice Burst, deals frost damage and slows. Ice Rage. Okay, and can freeze enemies, which is great. Oh, so it's a 50% chance to trigger a 15% chance to trigger a freeze. But it goes up to 100% chance when it's there. Let's see here. Final blow in melee. Okay. Frost Slash versus Flame Slash. Upon flicker, create an Ice Blade. When you hit a target with a flying sword, all ice blades fly into the target. Seems cool. I do a lot of dashing, and then you can chill surrounding enemies. This is phenomenal. I'm taking this absolutely. And I'm going to switch to this. I don't really like... 4 damage is just not enough to really be worth it. So you also have a utility item, or one of the utility upgrades from the beginning, if you remember that skill tree. And the utility slot basically allows you to distill. So this basically gives you a chance to, it gives you a very tiny, it's like a 1% damage boost or 1% max health, but if you're already maxed out equip anyways, you might as well do it. We're going to take one of these. Again, Sheath is the Blade Recall. This sounds the worst, so I'm never taking this. I don't want to have like double my channel time to drink a potion for a little bit more healing. This is great. Every enemy within melee range increases all damage you deal by 7%. Most of my damage is melee, so it's at least a 7% damage boost, and then those hordes will have a lot more there. Let's see what this weapon has. melee damage, move speed, melee damage. Interesting. Yeah, we're not taking that. This is kind of a cool effect, though, where basically your attacks basically just do shockwaves, but your attack speed's like greatly reduced. I'm just gonna recycle it. Turn it into some souls. Ooh, that's fancy. That's my little Frost Nova for... That's cool. I feel very frosty at this point. It's very aliens. I need to stay frosty. There. Sometimes I don't really... The camera for this game is mostly pretty good, but there's parts of it I don't like. Where when you're running ahead, sometimes especially vertically... Oh, there's a boss. Okay. Okay, well, it's out of the way. Where you're running, especially like up and down, I've noticed this more than side to side, where you are so far to the top of the screen that you can't really see where you're going, so... I'm not going to bother with the healing. Okay. Yep. I need to charge headfirst into a charging pig. That's fortunate. You kind of see when you get that little slowdown, or the little time freeze, that means you basically beat them, so you don't have to worry about any extra enemies coming in, which is nice. I'm gonna go here, actually. Reason being, maybe my weapon's only so-so, and a good weapon can make really all the difference in this game. Taking it, but it's 50 souls, and I would have gotten probably 100 from the other room, so it's not terrible. But I'm always recommend going for passives, because you're not slot limited. All the weapons, you can level up at a time, and you can only have 4 relics at one time, so you want to be stacking things that stack forever for maximum effect. So. That was stupid of me. This is a boss. He's actually he'll be a boss later. He's sort of telegraphing kind of how some of the bosses behave, which is kind of cool. You can see here. Well, I'll just let him do it again. He has these like little. You'll see like the little red circle on the ground, where he kind of will appear, and it can track you for a little bit. So that's again telegraphing the future boss fight that might actually be right here. We'll see. Wind, don't want. Okay, so do I want move speed plus 10% or move speed plus 10% and some damage? I'm taking that. We're gonna go here. Well, that was the elite. That was very, very dead. Okay, it's Pearl. Active shield gain. That's not terrible. Yeah, not bad actually. All attack plus 10%, no damage, all attack plus 5%, stacks up to 10 times, so I get another 15% attack-ish. This is deceptive. This might be one of the single most powerful effects I've seen in the game. Very often when it's happening on these tough boss fights is you're dashing away from an opponent, and there's like an invulnerability window during the dash, but if you miss it by just a hair, you get hit. And so you're basically saying, I can block 12% of that. It's very rare that I get hit a lot where I'm not trying to dash or dodge or anything like that. This sounds horrible. So I am going to take this, and I'm going to distill this. And maybe I'll get a health boost. Nope, got an attack boost. Yeah, you can kind of see my shield up there. So you dash so frequently that I basically always have a shield up. Now a lot of bosses will hit you for 20, of your health or more. But that's still a lot. That's so much
这
saving.
次又给我带什么惊喜来了？
I understood like none of that, except that about coming here. But that's about it. Okay. Icebreaker Stone. I'll try it.
啊，不
Not
喜欢吗？
optimistic. Natural use by 30%. Yeah, it's gonna be hard for it to compete because it's a common, just in general. So, I'm gonna break this down.
加油啊，英雄！你可别让妾身感到无聊啊。
Something about keep going. Jiao just means sort of like add oil or like, you know, put the gas on it essentially. Just like go for it. Oh, but this is the first boss. So here we go. This is a good spot to hopefully get done.
哪来的大胆狂
I love how
徒？
you just like
胆敢扫了我的
just
牙
trying to talk
线，
and you just keep
简
stabbing
直是
him.
不知死！
So this is the big boss. Bit of a jerk this one. I've lost this one. It's probably mostly where I die. Oh, shit. Okay, so he's got a couple main attacks. He's got a few shock waves, all that kind of good stuff. That one tracks you for a bit. He's only got 3 attacks, I think. Usually most bosses would do something special when they're at half health. Oh, God. Oh, jeez. Oh, man, this shield is so handy. Okay. So I won. Or did I? So that part's not too bad. This part's a lot worse. And here we go. This is the real nasty part. Okay. So he does these grabs. If he gets you exactly in the center, he will throw and eat you, which does an astronomical amount of damage. You need to at least double dash to get out of those. The hitbox is pretty accurate as well, so usually I'm not the only... Ah, shit. Okay. Yeah, corner is the safe spot there. Will do, again, an astronomical amount of damage if it hits. Shit. Okay. Oh god. He'll do these big sweeping attacks as well. Let's see if we can smash there. Oh god. I have not actually seen that attack before. I think I got it. Okay. It's not over yet. That attack is also, again, it deals a lot of damage. Okay, I think he's starting from right to left. Yeah, if you start from the wrong side, it will guaranteed hit you. So you kind of have to get a little bit. His head signals it ever so slightly. Sweet. Okay, that actually wasn't too bad. Whew. Okay, so I got some souls. Figure that out. Figure out what we want to take here. Okay. Frost entry, 25%. It's not bad, but again, it's common. Chance to trigger icy cold increased by 5%. That's also pretty good because that's like my 20% chance thing, right? All my I have a 15% chance to ever hit to deal with this. So going from a 15 to 20 is really big difference. More frost explosion, okay. But this is the rare one. So what is this? An icy cold wind will blow 15 damage, 16 seconds dealing frost damage. Oh, so just 25% of the time, people just take shit tons of damage. I'll try that. Work flames. Nah, I'm good. So not good enough. Another pearl. Okay. Interesting. I'm just gonna distill it. I don't think I need this. But that always feels bad distilling rare items.
这家伙中饱私囊，哼，罪恶。哎，就这么走了吗？
Okay. So we will just do this. This is very similar to before. I pick a thing. I'm gonna take. I'm just gonna grab some souls. I don't think I want to reforge my blade.
准备好了吗？
I'll get something worse. And here we
前
go.
方就是司命台了，
To
你可要小心了。
wave 2. This is probably a good spot to stop the video for today. So I will basically keep doing this run, but I will basically wrap up here. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and I will hope this was enjoyable. Check it out if you want to. You can find it on Steam in early access. I think it's like $15-20. And I will catch y'all next time.